Hi guys, welcome back to Romany's Realm. Oops, sorry, forgot to fix that bit of the laptop thingy because I have my thing slanted back. Oh, how are we today? I thought I would carry on today. Hi Prairie, hi Emma. I thought I would carry on today with, hi Jeanette, hi Kenzie, colouring Kenzie. Yeah, I thought I would carry on today with my Samhain book, my Samhain page that I was doing. And I'm sorry if I'm shouting at you, you'll just have to turn me down. Hi Foxy. I've got ringing in this ear and I'm completely deaf in this ear, so I have no idea how loud I'm talking. It's literally like shouting underwater at the moment. I can't hear very well at all. So, yes, love the hair. It's not finished yet. Got some more underneath to do. I haven't finished these bits yet. And I can't do anything with this side because this was my shaved side. So I can't really do anything with this side yet because it's far too short. But I will eventually. But I can wear it over both sides anyway. Why have I gone back to dreads? Because I love my dreads. I would never have got rid of my dreads in the first place, to be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that they were so heavy. They were 7 years old and literally they weighed about £30 and that's when they were dry. You can imagine what it was like trying to wash them. I got to the point where I had to go to a hairdresser's and I had to actually... That's better. I'm muted, now I'm not echoing. I had to actually get a hairdresser to wash them in a sink because I couldn't stand the weight on my neck anymore when I washed them. I just couldn't lift my head up. So I got rid of them, took them out, chopped them off. That was about September 2012 or 2013. I'm not sure. And then I played around with different colours and I loved my pink, but my hair was in really bad condition because I over-processed it, not because I had dreads. It was in very good condition when I got the dreads out. And then it was in really bad condition because I bleached it and bleached it and bleached it to try and get some colour out. And there's Mr. Quad Bike again. Oh, he's so annoying. And in about half an hour, bloody fireworks are going to start over there again. There's one house has been putting fireworks out between 6:30 and 7:30 every day for 2 weeks. Seriously. Tomorrow is bonfire night and last weekend was Halloween. If they keep it up after bonfire night, I'm calling the local bobbies. Not the big police, you know, but they've got like a local community helpline type thing if something's for minor annoyances and things, non-emergency stuff. And honestly, I'm gonna call them if they keep it up after after November the 5th, because 2 weeks of fireworks is ridiculous. I found my glasses, yes. They were under the dog bed. Don't ask. I don't know. But yeah, the dreads are back. I've always wanted my dreads back, but while I had really bad condition hair, I thought, well, I've always wanted to just chop it all off and have a pixie cut. So I did, and then I shaved it, and then I shaved the sides, and then I had it long at the top and shaved the sides, and then I had a dread hawk. And I've done all sorts of things with it, and now I'm at the stage where I'm like, yep, I'll have my dreads back now. I'm done experimenting. So they look red in this light, but they're actually pink. Alizarin Crimson is the colour. Rose Madder is my favourite colour in the world. Everything. If I can't get it in black, I buy it in Rose Madder. Sometimes I buy it in both. Anyway, if you're going to talk to me in chat, don't forget you're going to need to put it in caps because I miss things otherwise. It's not so bad at the moment when there's only like a dozen people in, but and seriously, you people who watch the replay and complain that there's too much chatting, It's a live show. There's people to talk to. Get over yourselves and use the fast forward button. Seriously, just fast forward to the bit you want to watch. The people who are sitting here talking to me want to sit here and talk to me, so quit your moaning. Just fast forward. There. What is it Dee Dee says? Don't email me. Except she says it is in this amazing southern accent. She's from, where is it, Georgia? She's got that Scarlett O'Hara accent. It's amazing. I'm not even going to try to do it, because, no. But yeah. That's how I feel today about people asking silly questions. And I don't mean sensible questions. Like, I'm always going to get people asking where I get my Believe journal because some people haven't seen it. That's fine. But, you know, when I actually put on a photograph the information and then I still get asked the information, really? Really? And don't ask me where I buy anything. It's Amazon or eBay. If you can't find it on Amazon, I bought it on eBay. And vice versa, okay? Don't email me. Can I use your catchphrase, Dee Dee? Anyway. Oh, who's in? Where did I get to? Kenzie. Hi, Kenzie. Colouring Kenzie. She's only 12, bless her. And we've got another little one. Who's the other little one? I can't remember. Somebody else said their 9-year-old watches. And I know when Poe's in, she's got little love with her. I don't think Poe's in yet today. Penny, Ash, Muzung, Foxy, Tracy. Man invented language to satisfy his deep need to complain. Lily Tomkin. Oh, I'm going to have to put that in my journal. Except I'm not gonna write it down. I'm just gonna photograph it. There we go. That's going in my journal. Honestly, I don't understand people who watch a live show and then they're like, it's not edited very well. I'm like, it's not edited at all, you idiot. And these aren't subscribers. I mean, subscribers know what the deal is. But people who come onto my bullet journal video that's an hour and a half long, I did it for my subscribers because all my subscribers were like, well, we like these short videos, but can you show us properly what you do? And it took an hour. And then I've got people who aren't subscribers coming on saying, why do you want an hour-long video about productivity? I'm like, why do you want to sit and watch it? Go and watch Ryder Carroll. Hi, Claire, got paint in my hair. Every village has one, yeah. That's absolutely right, Emma. Every village has one. Right then, let's get cracking, shall we? Sorry, I haven't got used to these yet. I keep getting tangled up in them. I'm not playing with them, I just keep getting tangled up. And at the moment, because they're quite new at the roots, obviously I can't tie them up yet, so I keep getting them caught on stuff. Oh, you guys make me laugh. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Let's switch cameras. Here we go. Look, we're in focus today. Oh, I'm sorry, sweet pea. I've got Maddie down by my feet. She's snuggled around my feet because she doesn't like the fireworks. Bless her. She used to be alright when we had Gypsy, but I think she basically couldn't hear the fireworks over Gypsy's snoring, to be honest. Okay. So this one is my written one, my herb journal. Well, herbs and crystals and incense and stuff, because that's what I have the most information on. So this is like correspondences, by which I mean, like, for instance, ginger root. What's it used for? Where's it from? How do you collect it? How do you turn it into a tincture? What can you use it for? Blah, blah, blah. So I've written all the herbs that I've currently got in stock along here. And this is why, because I'm a lefty. And if I do that, I can quickly flip through and see what I've got. A lot easier than if I have to go up here and up here. I just find that easier. I've always done that in my planners. And I thought it would be easier in here as well. And it saves having to have tabs. So what I plan to do, obviously, because there's different types of herbs. There's rose petals, which are obviously from a flower. There's ginger root, which is a root, not surprisingly. Ash leaves, which are a leaf. Dragon's blood, which is a powder. Basil, which is a cooking herb. It's a traditional herb. So what I want to do is colour code them, just with a little bullet or something, when I decide how I want to put them together. And what I was talking about last week was having a section at the back, sectioned off, which I'm going to make like this. So I'm going to have, I've got some black felt, and I've also got some black card, and I'm going to see which works better. But basically I'm going to stick it in there, and I'm going to have it folded over like that. Let's do it on the crease properly. See, like that. So that it's like the, the Practical Magic book, where you turn it over, and then you've got another section at the back here. And that will be for like dark stuff, like poisonous herbs, and herbs for darker shenanigans than you would normally use. Herbs you have to be careful of, things that are very, very potent. Darker crystals and things like that. I thought that would be kind of cool. And then I'll do the same thing with this one, which is my book of Shadows. So this is just kind of a reference book. Because if I wrote all this in my book of Shadows, I would get through about 6 of these in a year. Because I have so much of this stuff to write in, and I want to collect it all from all the different sources I've got. Rue. What's rue? R-U-E? No, I don't know what you mean, Prairie. So yeah, I haven't started writing things in yet, but I will. I'm not going to be precious about this book in any way. I've done nice lettering on the things here, but the idea is that I'm just going to make notes, write it in, scribble in bits and pieces that I find, maybe stick in bits that I find in magazines and things, because sometimes you get these little snippets and they're quite useful. Then I've got halfway through, just under halfway through, I've got a section for incense blends, because I have some Oh, right, rue as in the herb. Okay. Is it R-U-E or is it R-E-U? R-E-W. Maybe that's why I'm confused. It's a different spelling you've got. But yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that I would put in the back of my book. There's a danger sometimes with non-witchy folk who watch, because I know I've got non-witchy folk who write, who watch for the art stuff, which is fine. Some people just want to watch the art stuff, and that's great. But there's a danger sometimes when you say dark that they interpret that as evil. It's not evil. It's just darker. It's all relative. It's all shades of grey. There's charcoal and there's pale grey. Okay. Anyway, I've got a section here that I'm going to use for blended incense, because there's things like moon incense and water incense and various different Samhain and Ostara incenses and things like that are set recipes. So I'm going to write those in here. And then at the back I'm going to have crystals in this section here. But again, I'm only going to write in the crystals that I've got and use. So as I get a new crystal, I'll be able to write it in and research it a little bit. Because that's what I tend to do. I get a new crystal and the first thing I do is I go and look it up. like yarrow. I had never heard of yarrow. I don't know how I'd never heard of yarrow, but I'd never heard of yarrow. So when I got some in my box the other day, that was the first thing I did. I went and looked it up. So that's what these pages will be for. And I've put the titles on this side, like I said, so I can flick through. But what I'll do is, if yarrow only takes up one page, because it's not, you know, it's a fairly basic herb, or like basil, you know, I pretty much know basil off by heart. I don't really need to have a whole page on it. I can put, you know, just basic information, just memory jogger information. You know, I know the main thing, and if I just put 1 or 2 words, I'll think, oh yeah, I remember, that's for such and such. And then new stuff I come across, I can put in here. So new research, because some of it is in my head, I don't need it. I don't need to write it down again. For me, my reference books and my book Shadow are about learning. They're not about recanting every single thing that I already know, if you know what I mean. So yeah, if I go across 2 pages, I'll put the title Basil here as well. And if I don't, I'll just put another one there, because I haven't put them in alphabetical order or anything. What I've done, actually, where's my... Because somebody did say to me last week when I said I hadn't put them in alphabetical order, how are you going to find them if they're not in alphabetical order? Well, how I'm going to find them is like this. What I've done is in here, this is my wallet. Linda sent me this Field Notes, which is 56-week date book. And it's just, literally, it's a week. And a week. So I'm going to use this. Hi Claire, hi Metty. Yeah, yarrow smells really nice. I've never heard of it before. I've got to get to know what it does and have a play with it, I think. We need to become friends. You can't see again, can you? It's blowing out the pages, sorry. There you go. So it's just a week on one page. So there's 2 weeks there. And I'm going to use that in conjunction with my Year in a Day book, which, oh, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, right. When Frogs Sing 2016 is my class next year, it's my journaling class. Alongside that, I'm rerunning the When Frogs Sing 2015 planning and writing sections. Now the planning section is a year-long project, and this is what I want to do for my year-long project this year. Last year I did the happiness project. It's been going really well. I've combined it with KonMari to have a big clear out when I moved and everything. That's gone really well. I'm very happy with it, ironically. Hi Deb. But obviously I can't just put up the videos for last year and say, here you go, that's it. Even though the people who subscribe to it are actually doing a free class. I don't feel content just whacking up the videos and say, there, go get on with it. I want to show them what I'm doing. So I'm going to do new videos as I go, showing them what I'm doing with this. And this is it's a Wicca Year in a Day, and I'm not Wiccan, but a study guide is a study guide, okay? And if I come across something that I don't use, or I don't personally agree with, or whatever, you know, you can always say there's a section in here on the rule of 3, which I don't agree with the rule of 3. I agree, I believe in balance. Eye for an eye, one up, one down, yin yang, all that. I don't believe in karma. No, I believe in karma, but I don't believe in the rule of 3 as Wicca does it, because that is out of balance. If you give something out and it comes back to you times 3, where's the other 2? Okay? That's how I look at it. But I tend to interpret things very literally. And again, I mentioned this at the beginning. I'm sorry if I'm shouting. You'll have to turn me down because I can't hear myself speak. I'm pretty much completely deaf in one ear and very deaf in the other. Yeah, so even though it's a Wicca book and I don't do Wicca, I can just skip the bits I don't agree with and go and research something else. Or, if there's something like the rule of three, then I can look it up and I can say, okay, well, why do they think the rule of three is okay? And why do I think it's not? It gives me an opportunity to examine what I believe. Why don't I do rituals? Why don't I use a circle when I cast? Why don't I agree with some of the things? Why don't I invoke the god and goddess every time I do whatever? So it gives me a chance to re-evaluate my own beliefs and look at different systems and look at different ideas. And it might be that some of them that I've thought, no, I don't agree with that, over the years since I've last done this kind of thing, actually my views have changed and I've interpreted a little bit more towards the Wicca way, or I've interpreted a bit more against what I believed before that agreed with this. So I think it's worth doing these. They're supposed to be initiation things that you do right at the beginning. But I think they're good for redoing them. And especially this book. It's Wicca, A Year in a Day by Timothy Roderick. It's in my A store. rhomany.org.uk. Click on Row Recommends on the top right. And if you can't see any links, turn off your pop-up blocker. Oof. But yeah, it's split into days, and the thing I like about this book is it tells you what's coming up. There's nothing more annoying than doing one of these books and you come up to it and it says, okay, today we're going to burn some basil for this, that and the other. And you're like, well, I don't have any basil. What's basil? But this tells you in advance. You've got some basic introductions and then it's got 1 to 30, all the magical things you're going to need and what days you need them for. So on day 3, you're going to need a white taper candle and a candle holder, and presumably something to light your candle with, which is the kind of thing I'd forget. So having that there and being able to go and lighter, it's really good. It's a textbook. I'm quite happy to write in this. In fact, it's nice paper if you wanted to. There's nothing to stop you using it like, like some of the Christians do Bible journaling, where they do a section in their readers and they illustrate the page. Nothing to stop you doing that in here. It's really nice paper. Hi, Cheryl. I think this would take watercolour quite nicely. It's very smooth, but it's quite thick. So yeah, it's got a list here of what you'll need for the month, so you can gather your bits as you go. And if there's anything that you're going to have to get hold of, like a farmer's almanac, and it says generally available at your local bookstore or library, so you can toddle off to your library and go get your local farmer's almanac and things like that. Also tells you if there's certain moons on particular days. I believe that one it needs to be... Yeah, if it needs to be on like a full moon or a waxing moon or a waning moon, it'll tell you, and then you can change it according to the date. Because obviously next year is a leap year. So after February, you're going to be a day out on everything. So it's 366 days, this is, which is supposed to be a year and a day. Is that 366... How many days in a year? 365 days in a year? 366 in a leap year? So because it's a leap year, it won't actually be a year and a day, it'll be a year. Yeah. Mettie's just saying that she reads Wiccan books too, but is more of an eclectic witch. Yeah, I am. But I believe in reading everything. I mean, I've read the Torah, I've read the Quran, I've read the Bible. I have no... To me, that's just like reading philosophy books or psychology books or whatever. It's everything enhances your knowledge. And there's nothing guaranteed to irritate me more than seeing someone who proclaims themselves to be a witch going against any religion. It annoys me because we're not about that. We're just not. But when they sit there and they decry both Christianity and Satanism, because Satanism is an actual religion. It's not part of Wicca. It's not part of witchcraft. It's nothing to do with us. It's an actual religion. It's the inverse of Christianity. It's nothing to do with us. We don't believe in God. We don't believe in the devil. Okay? Don't get started on that. But it really irritates me when I see witches talking about or putting down Christianity, even when they've come from a Christian background. And I say to them, have you ever read the Bible from cover to cover? And they're like, no, I don't have that. I'm not Christian. I don't. Well, you don't have to be Christian to read the Bible. It's a book. Just read it like a story. There's a really good illustration where it's got the first chapter of it's got the first chapter of the Bible, where it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and somebody's crossed it out and put once upon a time. And that's how I view it. If you don't believe in it, it's a story. It's a history story. A lot of these people actually existed. So it's history. It's like myths. It's like reading about the Roman gods. You know, for me, it's nothing. It's mythology, basically, for me. And I read Norse myths. I read Celtic myths. Why shouldn't I read Christian myths in the form of the Bible? So, what did he say about leap day in his diary? You know, I don't know what he says about leap years in here. I don't think he says anything about leap years. Maybe he's supposed to take a day off or something. I don't know. Leap day would be the... Do not skip any days or try to combine 2 days in once. If it takes you longer, do it. So if it takes you longer than a year, then it takes you longer than a year. Oh, do you know, I see a page of text like this and I'm looking for something and my head is automatically going, Control F, Control F. Damn it, you can't do that on a page. Does anybody else do that, or is it just me? Oh, I am a child of the digital age. Fire safety considerations, which is good. It's good. There's a lot of teenagers and younger teenagers especially get into this sort of stuff, and, you know, at 13, 14, 15 years old, you don't necessarily think about what you've got dangling around your candles, or, you know, the fact that you can set smoke on fire. He doesn't mention anything about leap years in here. So what would it be? 50, day 60? Let's skip to day 60. 31 and 29 is 40, 50, 60, yeah. So that would be the 29th. Hang on, because that's days 60 to 90. Oh, he's split it into oh, it doesn't matter because he's split it into 30s. It's not a monthly thing. It's split into groups of 30, not by month. I assumed it would be split by January, February, March, you know. But it's not. It's split into days of 30. 30s, groups of 30. So there you go. That answers that question. History is written mostly from one point of view and not very balanced. Yeah, what is it they say? History's only written by the winners. Okay, Larissa, we're here for 3 hours. Come and join us when you get back. Yes, anyway. I forgot what I was talking about there. That's where I was going with this. So this, I'm going to write in my prompts for that, and write in anything that I know I need for particular days, so I can, if I need it, I can buy it when I'm in town. Although I think I've got most things. So this is just, like I say, it's a very basic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. And then in the middle here, I've got an address book. This is out of the old moleskin pocket diaries. It's just an A to Z. It's for addresses. And I thought, well, instead what I'll do is I'll write in here, I'm going to number my pages. I'm going to number my pages in here. So, like, for instance, this will be just a front page. Page 1, yarrow. So in this little book here, under Y, I'll put yarrow, page 1. Or maybe even yarrow R1. And then this is my book of shadows, so this might be S, for instance. And I might have a spell in here on page 200 that's got yarrow in. So I might put yarrow R1 S 100. And then let's say I've got another page on yarrow later on in that book, so I can put that again. So a bit like a bullet journal index. So yarrow will only have one line of corresponding pages. That's the idea anyway, that's what I'm thinking. And then I've got a spare page at the back, which I can use for my incense. I'm pretty sure I can fit all my crystals and things on here. I can't see any reason why not. Because I actually don't... I have enough crystals and herbs, but I don't have a massive amount of crystals and herbs. So I can't imagine me needing more than that. But I've got several of these anyway. They're just little dinky books that come with the pocket moleskins. They just look like that, see? You could make one of these and just cut the bits out and or stick tabs on them or whatever. Or you could even just use one of these ordinary books and just write the letters on. You know, you can make your own indexes. It's easy enough. And if it gets too big for that, then I can always get an address book and do it that way. And have a dedicated address book. So that's the plan. So I've got that with me all the time then. So if I'm out and about and I'm going running errands and I think, oh, hang on a minute, what do I need this month? Oh, yes, I need one of those. It is Evernote, but in an index book, yes, basically. Because I'm a nerd and I worry about something happening to my books, I will also photograph my books and archive them in Evernote. That's why I've got a pro account, because that's what that's what I use it for, basically. So it's like all my Kindle books and everything. I've got those all backed up into Evernote as well, just in case. So that's that book. And then this is my Book of Shadows proper, if you like. Sorry, my desk is covered in bits of eraser and it's getting on my nerves. There we go. That's better. So I showed this last week, but just for those of you who haven't seen it yet, this is my plain one. So it's exactly like my little journal, but it's an A5 one, so it matches the lined version. Yes, both of these are in my A store on rhomany.org.uk. On the very first page, I have an elephant paperclip, but I took him off because he was in the way of where I was writing. So he's here somewhere, and I'll put him back on when I'm finished. I love my paperclips, but they do get in the way when you're writing. I don't like to take anything too seriously, and I think especially things like religion and beliefs and things like that, when you start taking them a bit too seriously, that can be, you know, unless you're going into it professionally, if you're going to be a nun or a priest or something like that, but then fine, go take, if you want to live on the top of a mountain and be a Buddhist monk, then that's fine. Take your religion or your belief structure seriously. But, you know, I think the rest of us can be a little bit overzealous. So I put some funky bats in there because I'm a giant nerd and I love Halloween stuff and I like bats and I'm a goth. Do I need a reason? They're cool bats, come on. This is the useless page, which I just leave. I don't do anything with that because it annoys me. I've got my eclectic bookmark in here, which is just holding on this. It's a piece of vellum, parchment, like you use for Pergamo crafts. Is it Pergamo? Is that the word I'm looking for? Where you use those little knobbly stick things and you draw on a template. I'm sure it's called Pergamo craft. This is just washi taped in and it's like a book plate, so that's got my book blessing on. Then I've put in my Norse Reed of Honour. And again, I'm not being overly precious with this. I don't have to have everything perfectly written. I'm doing my best not to make spelling mistakes and things like that, but they happen. And if they happen, then I just cross it out. Then I put one here where I put from, and I don't know where, I think I read the wrong line and I started writing the wrong line. So I just crossed it out and carried on, you know. In ye olde days, they didn't have Tipp-Ex. They would have just crossed it out and carried on. So, and again, I'm doing the same thing with my titles because it's just easy for me. I like that. So this is the Norse Reed of Honour. I'm going to put a decorative thing on this side, something Norse-ish. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But since I am currently being called by the Morrigan, as it were, I might do Hunnin and Munnin, is it? The two crows from Odin's Crows. I might do those, like a Celtic. I might see if I can find a Celtic double crow illustration to put on here. My Halloween sticker collection was huge until last week, and now it's severely depleted. Pergamano. Thank you, Dawn. I knew it was something like that, but Pergamo didn't quite sound right. Pergamano. Thank you. Obviously not one of the crafts I do. Then I've got my headology section. I'm going to do a portrait of Granny Weatherwax in here, because I can. I've got a quote that's going down there. I've put a quote here. I've done some writing. I got lots more to go in this section. This section is going to be all about my beliefs and what I practice and how I practice it and things like that. Just general kind of, almost like a memoir type thing. And things like my totems. I'll probably do a totems page because I've got a list of all my totems over the years. My spirit guide is a wolf. But every year my totem seems to change. So, sorry, I seem to be having a little bit of an issue with my Wi-Fi. Don't know why. Let me grab the cable 1 second. I'll be back 1 second. Hello, Scooby-Doo. Good boy. There we go. That should work a bit better. My Wi-Fi seems to be dropping in and out, and I don't want it to be causing problems with you guys, so what was I saying? Dum-de-dum-de-dum. No, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I might do. I keep a list of all my totems every year, and they change. Like this year, it's an elephant, but now it's starting to change into crows. So I may put a list of all my totems in here and what they've meant, and how they showed themselves. And things like that. That's the kind of stuff I'll put in here, more general things. And then this is going to be my Wheel of the Year. Keeping a journal throughout the year, as opposed to just this is a section on Samhain, and this is a section on tarot, and this is a section on this, and this is a section on that. I can't stand sections. So I'm just going to start at the beginning of the Wheel of the Year now and work through and do stuff. I've got some stuff I want to put on here for Samhain. I'm just going to do a page of like correspondences and things like that. Make a note of what I did on Samhain, all that kind of stuff. And just keep that going throughout the year. So it'll be chronological. That's the word I was looking for. Right, let me grab my desk. Because I found out the other day, if I put it on the desk like this, I can see it better, and so can you. A Discworld diary! Oh, I really don't need another diary for 2016. I've got a Hobonichi. Oh, but I really like the Discworld stuff. As evidenced by the fact that my raven is called Quoth. Okay, let's get this in the right place. I think I've knocked my camera again. There we go. And my colours. This is what we did on Saturday. Now, please don't sit there and ask me, what did I use? What did I do this? What did I do that? I recorded a 6 hours worth of this on YouTube on Saturday. So, if you want to know what I was using, go and look at that, alright? Let me just... I'm just checking that this is picking up the Ethernet, because I'm having a few issues with it. Yeah, it's connected. It seems to be freezing momentarily and then carrying on, and I don't know why. Why is my stream health not good? Just give me a second, because this is bugging me because it keeps stopping. And it shouldn't be, because I've got like Uber connection now. Okay. That should have resumed. I'm just going to give it a second while everybody gets back and refreshes and everything else. My software crashed. Sorry about that. Hi! What's the matter, Scooby-Doo? Right, sorry about that. We should be back. You need to refresh your screens. Oh, I know what else I was going to do. I'll do this while I'm waiting for everybody to come back. What is it called? What is it called? Settings. That's the word. The software that I'm using is in beta, so every so often it crashes and it sends a report on what's gone wrong. So, and when it goes wrong, sometimes it resets, so it might be too high. I don't know. But until 9 o'clock, which is in 2 hours and 15 minutes, I will just keep rebooting and coming back. And hopefully everybody can see me. Anyway, what I'll do while we're waiting is I wanted to make another one of these. Where's my little book? My little fox that I use for this, to hold it together. I wanted to make another one of this. This is based on the Hobonichi closures. So I get asked about it so often, I thought I'd show you how I did it, even though I've got a video on it already. Ah, lots of viewers again. And now the stream's gone again. That's so weird. As soon as it hits 21 viewers, it goes back to being not a very healthy stream. I don't know what's going on. I seem to have a bit of an issue with something going on with the software. Because it's making it's using a lot of CPU. It's using over 70% of CPU and it shouldn't be. So I've got to keep an eye on that. Anyway, like I said, if it crashes again, I'll just restart again. But what I want to do is make one of these for these books. The funny noise you can hear is Miss Maddie playing with boxes. What you doing, Miss Maddie? So what you want is some cord. Now this is 3mm elastic. See, stretchy. Don't ask me where I bought it. I bought it on eBay. And you want enough to go around your book, double. So about that much. And I always cut it a bit extra because these fray. You will also need, which is over on the other side. Oi! What are you doing? Get out of there. Minx. You will also need a lighter. And you will need a button. Now you want a button with a vertical doodad. So if you're, what's the word? Shank. If you're using something, look at my frog, isn't he awesome? I don't know who sent me that. I think it might have been Shazan. I think Shazan sent me him. He's so cute. He's just awesome. So if you're using a picture type one, then it needs to be one when you turn it over the shank is vertical. If it's round, obviously it doesn't matter. Okay, so pair of scissors. Just check this again. Measure twice, cut once. You know the drill. So that's near enough. You don't need to measure it, just make sure it goes around your book twice. Near enough. And I'm going to chop off those ends so they're nice and neat. You may have to chop them off again because this frays really quickly. But I want to tie the knot before I do anything else. Okay, now what you need to do is you need to thread. Let me think, I have to think about this. Yeah. You want to thread that way. So with your button facing you, you want to thread that way. So I'm going to put my teeny tiny little crochet hook through here, hook that elastic through. This is by far the easiest way of doing it, trust me. Works for doing your Midori as well. You've just got to find a crochet hook that is big enough to grab the elastic and small enough to fit through the shank. Oh, I need to do this the other way around because I can't hold the button still with that hand. Okay. This is the problem with being ambidextrous, you don't know which hand to do things with. There we go. Okay, so you've got your frog on there. I'm going to tie an overhand knot, so round your fingers, So you've got a loop and then flip those down through. It doesn't have to be right near the end, because remember we had a bit of an extra elastic, but keep it close to the end if you can. Nice and tight. You want it to be quite small, so you want to pull the knot tight. Okay. See, it's frayed again already. This is why you need the lighter. I'm going to chop that off. Now be careful when you're doing this, because you don't want to set fire to things, okay? We're not setting fire to it. Remember the zone of unburnt gas from chemistry with your Bunsen burners? Right, we're going to set your lighter going and just get it close enough. You see, I'm nowhere near the flame. Can you see that? Let me do it above the book so you can see it a bit better. Okay, there's the flame. I'm nowhere near it. I'm about 3/4 of an inch away from it, and it's melting just the yellow bits around the outside. And that's all you want. You don't need to set fire to the elastic or anything like that. Just get it close enough that those little hairy bits on the end of the elastic curl inwards on themselves. That is the plastic in the elastic melting. The plastic in the nylon cord, rather. It's a bit tricky at the moment because I've got a draft. There we go. Okay? You do not need to set fire to anything. Don't get it on fire, because this gives off really nasty fumes. So I'm going to wet my fingers and just make sure that that is, yeah. It'll feel hard. It'll feel like it's got a little hard ridge around it, but it looks nice and neat, so it won't keep fraying. And then all you do is push your little froggy up to the end. Pull it nice and neat. And this is why you wanted a smaller knot, so that you want the shank and the knot a similar height. Doesn't have to be exact, okay? We're not measuring it with a ruler, but a similar height. And now you have a closure for your book. It's a little bit loose. If it's too loose, tie a knot in it. Tie another knot in it for now, because what will happen is, as your book gets thicker, you'll want to loosen it off, so don't shorten it. Just tie another knot in it to shorten the elastic. And because that's on the opposite side of the elastic, it's not going to pull the knot tight. Okay? So there's my little magical frog. Frogs and toads, very magical, they are, indeed. So, I think he looks like an actual frog. He's cute. Ugh, terrible glare from the camera today. It's because it's dark outside. I need to reset my lighting again. There we go. There he is. So if you like to put bits inside your book, and it also works with my cover, which is, where have I put it? There it is. Oh, craft-a-lunch. This is the plastic cover off my Hobonichi from last year. It's a little bit too big, but it doesn't bother me. It fits around the girth of the book, but it's a little bit too tall height-wise. So, if you're going to stand your book on a table, on a bookshelf, it's going to sit odd like that. See, it's far too high. But you could always fold it over and tape it, I suppose, if you wanted to. But because mine generally lies flat, and it holds it tight this way. I don't really have a problem with it having a bit of a gap on either end. Keeps my book nice. And then I've got my little froggy. Foxes were my totem last year, you see, so I had a fox cover. There you go. Ta-da! That's my book of shadows at the moment. Oh, let's do some colouring, shall we? I always have so much to show you guys. It takes forever. They are pretty, aren't they, those covers? I really like them. It's got little foxes and little flowers and mushrooms and a little spider and a spider's web. Lots of little fox. Oh, is that a squirrel? That might be a squirrel, that one. This is definitely a fox. Yeah, it's just really pretty. It's the kind of thing you might doodle on there, on something. Little bumblebee. I like him. Yeah, it's just a nice way of keeping my nice black cover nice and black. So, where's my book page? Here it is. Okay, this started out with a layer of watered down acrylic craft paints, and I'm just looking for the book I was using to hold this side up. There it is. Scooby-Doo had it. Oh, there we go. It's just to keep this side of the book flat. And I'm working on an angle. It distorts the image a little bit, but it's easier for you to see because if I lay it flat, it distorts the colours and it goes all flashed out. So I'm just going to carry on colouring this, and feel free to ask questions or whatever. I will talk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I'm just trying to find... I might start with the skull, because a lot of people were saying, oh, I don't know if I can colour in a skull. Where did I get the cover? This cover is from Hobonichi. It's last year's cover. You won't be able to get it now, but they have another one that's got floral things on. But they do sell out very, very quickly. I'll be surprised if you can still get the patterned ones. Hobonichi, is it 1101.com? Numbers, 1101.com. But if you just put in Hobonichi, it's a Japanese site, you'll find it. But you can get those covers, you know, you can get these covers in like just plain ones. You could always get a plain one and then doodle on it yourself. Use a white pen and doodle on it yourself, or even white acrylic. White paint pen, something like that. If you use a water-soluble paint pen, you'd want to doodle on the inside in reverse so that it doesn't scratch off the front, because obviously these are printed. But yeah, you could always doodle your own. Get an exercise book cover, or they have them in libraries, don't they, where they're like this on one side, but then this side folds in and it kind of slides according to the width of the book. You could get one of those. As long as it's for a thick book. It needs to be for a chunky book if it's for this. So, yeah, should we do the skull? And what I'm going to do is pull up a reference photo. Because I just want to see where the shadows are. So I want a skull slightly turned that way. Whoops. Too far. A little bit too far. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, he'll do. Ooh, he's not pretty. Oh well, I only want him for his... let's download that image. I only want him for his shading, just to see where his shading is, because it's easier to show you if you can see it on the picture. Hello, Yorick. Or Burke, as I like to call him. Oh, I need to turn my brightness up. I've got night vision on. Hang on. Go away. Touch screens. Filter. What have I got filter on? There we go. You should be able to see him now. There we go. Better. So, I need greys. And because we're using a glow by candlelight, I'm going to use warm greys. So, warm grey, French grey, anything like that. Black and white. Graphite, really doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. Oh, that's my comb I've been looking for. That's weird, I could have sworn I checked in here. What? I'm sure I checked in here the other day for that. Oh well. Black. There's the graphite. Let's get a cream as well, and a slightly grey beige colour. This is beige sienna if you're using Prismacolors. I use a range of everything, but move this over so you can see him a bit better. There. You should be able to see that now. So, where are our darkest areas? I'm not going to start with black. You would think you'd start with black with your darkest areas, but no. What I'm going to do is start with graphite, because it's dark, but it's not black. So we can put in our colour, our shading, where we need it. And I've already started putting in the shading on this, as you can see. So that bit is dark, that bit is dark, and that bit is dark. I'm ignoring the fact that he's got a backlight, because mine hasn't got a backlight. So there's also a very dark area in under here, under the cheekbones. There's a shaded area here on the frontal plane, and this bone that comes down here, a very dark area down the side there, going down into the ear cavity. Dark there, and of course there's going to be dark just behind this glass. And I'm going to put a shadow on this bit of, on this ball, but not as strong a shadow because there's a light coming from this side. So we're dealing with multiple light sources. The main light source is from there. So that's going to cast a dark shadow here. But we've got a pale light source here that's going to cast a little bit of a shadow there, but not as dark. Okay. What we've also got is a light source here. So although this is dark, it's also going to have a light source on it, but it's not going to be a bright light source, it's just going to be a bit of a light source because bone doesn't reflect light very well. It's a matte surface, it doesn't reflect light, so we're just going to put some light on there, and then we've got the same coming up here from that one, because it will, if you think of it on a diagonal plane, we've got the ball, then we've got the candle and skull. So the candle is going to hit the skull a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of light in there where it would be hitting his face there. Okay. And then we've got the main light source coming down this way, which will be here. Now I'll put this in properly with shading in a minute, but I'm just sketching it in so that I can see where it's going to be. And it'll hit that bit of cheekbone there as well. Okay, so now I've got my shading and my light patches in. Oh, I forgot, there's a bit on the bone there. That bit of bone where it looks like he's got sunglasses on. That nasal bone sticks out there. So that'll have highlight on it. Probably his cheekbone will as well, actually. So that's light coming down that way. It's a bit like shading a normal face, really, except you haven't got the nose sticking out. Or you haven't got the nose sticking out quite so much. You've still got the bumpiness. My chat has stopped working, so I don't know if... I never know if people are just not chatting because they're busy doing stuff, or if my chat has stopped. But the last person I've got is Bo Blue talking in chat, so if that's the last person, then we're good. Let me just grab a drink, my throat's drying up. Ah, there we go, Claire's back now and my chat's working again. Alrighty. Now I'm going to go in and put my black in where these shaded areas are, okay? The reason I'm doing it like this, you will see in a second. And this is going to be a very fuzzy outline because this is a very soft light, whereas this will be a darker, more stark outline, shadow, because we always assume that the light coming that way, is the light source, is a strong light. These are sockets, so they're not going to have any light at all. Although it's incredibly tempting to draw eyes in there. I'm not pressing hard because this is acrylic. It feels a little bit like gesso under your pencil, so you really don't need to press hard with your pencils. Even with this harder pencil, this is a Faber-Castell pencil. Hi Larissa. If you can hear a strange snorty noise in the background, that's Miss Maddie having a snooze. She's curled up around my feet, bless her. She's not doing at all well with the fireworks this year. I don't know if that's just because there's more of them over here, because we're by the park, or if it's just because she can hear them this year and she hasn't got Gypsy here to keep her quiet, because Gypsy was not scared of anything. And Scooby's not scared of anything, he just blithely carries on. But he tries to protect Maddie, bless him. He doesn't know what she's scared of because he doesn't really notice. I do wonder sometimes if he's a bit deaf. But either that or he just doesn't notice the fireworks. It's just he's so blasé about it. But he sees Maddie shaking and he cuddles up to her. And he lies across her trying to protect her because he knows she's scared. He's such a sweetheart. There we go. Now these parts are going to be blended down. So I'm not doing a crisp edge like I've done here, I'm doing a softer edge. So what I need to do is get a grey and blend that out. Same here. It's going to be darker in the socket where there's an overhang, and then as it comes up towards the plane it will have less of a shadow. This side is all shadow because it's away from the light, obviously. This side I'm blending out because it's a soft shadow. And really, just by changing whether you have a soft shadow or a light shadow, a hard shadow, and having multiple light sources, you can really make your picture look very dynamic. You don't realise how much difference it makes until you see it in action. This is all away from the light, so this will all be dark as well. It's all turned up under there. And this bit. And then this section is where we've got light hitting it from that candle. So we've got a dark section blending out into a bit of cream. So I've got the black and the cream meeting each other, and then I'll blend those out with a grey. So here's the grey, a warm grey, because cream is a warmer colour and this is candlelight, so we really want a warmer colour. And then we want to blend it out this side because it's not a harsh flat line. You see how at the moment it looks like he looks like he's got a straight bit on his skull. You don't want that. So I'm going to use my graphite because it's a little bit easier to smudge. Just doing a very, very light layer on that harsh line, and then I can blend it out with my grey pencil. See, it smudges nicely then. And we can get a nice tapered, rounded effect. You're basically looking for the same effect as this, but with less harsh lines. Oops, hang on, I'm tangled up in my dreads again. Ugh. Primetime TV. Oh, I see, you're chatting about what you're doing while you're watching. Okay, so this side has shadows, but the shadows are not such heavy shadows. So I'm going to use my grey graphite for this, because that's what I was trying to get across to you, that if you do your dark shadows first, sketch them in grey or graphite, you can erase it if it's wrong or if it doesn't quite look right. If it's right, you can go over it in black, and then once you've got your black down, you can do your next set of shadows in grey that are going to be dark grey. So anywhere you think you need a bit more shading or shaping, like this, we're going to blend this down. A little bit of graphite in there, see that blends out the black. A little bit of grey. Just smudge the graphite down into the cream, like that. A little bit more graphite. A little bit more grey. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, till you get it to where you want it to be. Now, go back in with a bit of cream. Cream is what I'm using for my highlights rather than white. Cream, knock that back up a bit. And now you can see he's got a sloping nose as opposed to a shelf, which is what we had the first time. A bit more graphite back in there, I think. That's better. And now I'll put the white, just a white highlight over the cream, just on that top corner there where the top edge of the nose sticks out, just to bring that forward. And then when I've done this section here, I'll do the same with the cheekbone. So there's the overhang. Blend out the graphite with the grey. Blend that up into there. Because the eyebrow bones are not, or the eyebrow ridge rather, it's not a big jutty thing, it's a soft bump. It's a ridge, it's not an overhang. So we want it to come up and down. And yes, I'm aware of the rule that you're not supposed to use graphite with colour pencil. That's why it's called mixed media, people. We're all about breaking the rules. There we go, and now I can put my highlight in there. And in there. Now the rest of this I don't really need to shade it. Because it's already got graphite, it's already got paint on it. So I don't really need to add colour to it. But I'm just going to put a little light touch of grey over the bits that don't have any pencil. Just because I think it makes it look a little bit more polished. It's purely psychological, it actually doesn't need to be done. So if you don't want to do this, just ignore me. That's just my preference. Blend this bit in as well. Blend it across. And over to where the cream is. Do something a bit waxier for that bit. We find a grey Prismacolor. Whoops. Grey Prismacolor. Dark grey. No, that's brown. Dark French grey, 70%. There we go. That's about right. Got the same ridge over here. Darken this one up with a little bit of black, because this one isn't as dark. That way I can use my graphite on this one to darken it up a little, but not as dark as that one. See, there's method in the madness. And that out with my original grey. Just keep going back and forth till you think it looks right. I'm going to add a little bit of white highlight on his eyebrow there, and his eye there, and his nose there. So those bits will be catching the light where it's coming down that way. You might even have a little bit on that rim of eye there, and that rim of eye there. Bit of white on here over the cream. So not as stark as this, because it won't reflect light the same way. Glass and bone is not going to reflect light the same way. And I think I just want to add some more dark to this side of the eyebrow. It's not picking up as well on this side as I would like. I can't really see what I'm doing because it's shining. Maybe just put a touch of black just on the darkest bit of the ridge, just to make it stand out a bit. That's better. There you go, there's the skull done. Any questions? Oh, thank you, Claire. Yeah, if you don't, if you ask me questions, you need to put them in caps or I miss it, but some people rewrite it. No, a graphite pencil, Tracy. It's not a colour, it's just a graphite pencil. Well, I say just a graphite pencil. It's a Palomino Blackwing 602. Whoa. It's like $3 a pencil. I'm a bit of a convert to this pencil, actually. I love it. I love how sharp it stays. Totally gratuitous. You do not need one of these pencils. Don't go running out and buy a Palomino Blackwing, okay, people? I'm a professional artist. But no, Linda sent me this, and it's. I thought they'd discontinued, but apparently they brought them back. Blackwing went out of business, and Palomino bought them out and brought them back. So. Oh no, hubby's dropped dinner on the floor. Well, that's the dog sorted for the night. What are you going to have? I forgot I've got a nice cup of coffee here. I guess it's takeaway night then on hubby. Okay, let me find. I'm going to use a yellow and a yellow ochre if I can find it. In here somewhere. And gold. Now, apparently all my yellow ochres need sharpening. Fun time! I'm almost out of yellow ochre. I've only got one. How is that possible? How can I possibly only have one yellow ochre Prismacolor left, and it's that? Not holding out much hope of this sharpening, given that it's... Ugh. Oh well, rats will eat cottage pie as well, you'll be fine. I'd still make hubby pay for dinner though. Definitely. Yeah, given that I've sharpened this at both ends and it doesn't have a point on either end, I'm not holding out much hope of this actually sharpening. I can't possibly only have one yellow ochre. That's ridiculous. Ugh. I'll tell you what, I didn't understand what everybody was talking about when they were talking about... Well, I think that one's dead, isn't it? That's why it's so short. I didn't understand what everybody was talking about when they were saying about Prismacolors kept breaking. And I'm sure the reason is because I've got the old ones. These are the like from when they were Beryl. These are an old set. The ones I've replaced are all the Premier, and they're absolutely awful. Like, seriously terrible. I can't believe we pay so much money for a pencil and we waste 3/4 of it sharpening the damn thing. Somebody at somebody at Polychrome, somebody at Prismacolor needs to get their end sorted out when it comes to quality control, because they really are shocking. Okay. That is Jasmine. This one is the Polychromos in Naples Ochre. Off to the chippy, good man. Yeah, the old ones don't break, do they? The old ones from when they were Beryl and Samford and run by the Crayola company, they just don't break. But the Premiers, ugh, they just break off every 5 seconds. They're awful. And I'm sure it's the wood that they're made of, because this wood is very, very soft. You can push your fingernail into it and leave a dent. I don't know if that picks up on camera, but you can push your fingernail into it and leave a dent. But that Premier wood is really, really hard. Yeah, I don't know if it's when the company moved to Mexico, when the production moved to Mexico, or if they swapped the wood, or if it's just coincidence that they moved to Mexico or whatever. I don't know. This is the gold. I'm just figuring out which one's going to work best, because the one I wanted, I can't. Yeah, use a cosmetic sharpener. That was me. That's what I use. Use a soft one for kohl pencils. Yeah, that's me. You use the bigger side of the sharpener. Exactly, Cheryl. That's what I always tell people. And it does help. It does help with any pencil. If it's soft, use a cosmetic sharpener instead of an ordinary one. I think that one's going to work the best, actually. With maybe a little bit of that. Okay. I've got to colour at a funny angle, sorry. But at least I'm not down on the table today colouring. I can see what I'm doing because I found my glasses. So I'm going to do the same thing again as I did with the brass box here, because I'm going to make this goldy. So the first thing I'm going to do is give it a coat of the medium colour. So I've got a base to blend into. I'll worry about the detail on the ribbon in a minute. So that's just a very light coat of the basic medium colour. I'm going to add the brighter yellow where there will be light hitting it. Now, don't go and put it on the inside rim, it's going to be on the opposite side here, because that's the side that's facing the light. This edge is facing the light, and the rest of it is in shade. So I'm going to use my gold for this side, and this side, inside rim. And in there, and in there, and in there, and along this side, and blend that into the bright yellow over here. I'm going to go back over it with the bright yellow, just to give it a more goldy tone on that edge where it'll be catching the light. Same here. Blend it across. Go back over this bit because this is where we already put the shadow. Blend it round, use the mid-tone to blend it across between the two colours, and then use the bright yellow on the edge where it's going to catch the light. See, we're getting there. So once more with feeling, shadow, here go the fireworks, light, blend the gold across the middle, over the shadow again to make it a bit darker. Mid-tone, taking over that gold and into the light section. So you're basically doing that with your colours. It's firework night tomorrow. But this particular lot, I've been having fireworks going off every single night around this time for the last 2 weeks. I was saying earlier, if they carry on after November the 5th, well, November the 5th is tomorrow, which is what, Thursday? Yeah, if they carry on through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to have to say something because it's a bit ridiculous. 2 weeks of fireworks for one day. It's the equivalent of like 4th of July starting in the middle of June. There quite often is firework displays like the day before or the day after. They stagger them. I don't mind that. They've got a proper display over in the park on Saturday. Like a full proper display. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. But this lot have been doing it since before Halloween. Every single night for at least an hour. It's a private house. They shouldn't be letting off fireworks in a private residential area. Okay, so I think that skull's pretty much done. I haven't decided yet whether I want to do his... Oh, that needs a bit of blending down. Hang on a minute. Just a bit of blending there. How do you know if you've blended properly? If you can see a line where there shouldn't be a line, you haven't blended properly. Now, a lot of people, and this is a common mistake, so I'll talk you through this one. If you've used a particular colour to darken and you want to blend it across, a lot of people will automatically get that colour and start blending it across. That's how you got in the mess in the first place. Don't do that. Instead of using the dark colour and blending it across even more, choose a medium colour and blend the light into the dark. And you'll get a much smoother line. See? So here we've got cream into grey. So I'm going to add a little bit of darker grey over the join. That masks the join. And then I'm going to use the light grey to blend that slightly darker colour out into the other two. And that will completely get rid of that line. Don't immediately go for the the blackest thing. When was the gunpowder plot? 1666? Was it? I don't know. Great Fire of London was 1066, was it? No, that was the Battle of Hastings. I'm not a history major. What are you asking me these questions for? I do the brown cheesy bits, the pink cheesy bits. I do brown cheesy bits is literature, pink cheesy bits is movies and general knowledge, and yellow cheesy bits is something else I can answer. I don't do the blue. Oh, 1605, thank you. I knew it was 16 something. I had an idea it was 60. What's 1666 then? What's that one? Because there's 1666 and 1066. 1066 Battle of Hastings, 1666 Great Fire of London, maybe. I don't know. I only live here. Yeah, 1605 for Guy Fawkes, who was a patsy anyway. That's the gunpowder plot. But the Great Fire of London, I think, was 1666. I don't know. I just pull numbers out of the air. I'm good at trivia, okay? I'm really, really, really good at trivia. But actual factual stuff? Hey, Scoob! Oh, do you want to say hello? Scooby-Doo wants to say hello. Come on then, Scooby-Doo. Come say hello. Come on then. Hello. Here's Scooby-Doo. Here's Scooby-Doo, look. Hello. Do you want to say hello to us? You want? Oh, you've got a funny eye, have you? There we go. Do you want to say hello to the fans? Say hello. You're not going to sing today? You're not going to sing for us? You're not going to sing for us, Scooby-Doo? No singing? Oh, please sing for us. Oh, you're a bit stressed out as well. Can you hear the fireworks too? That's because Maddie's sitting around my feet, crying. 1666 Great Fire of London. Thank you, Sue. So it wasn't that bad. Yeah, I'm full of useless info. Actual useful facts, forget it. But useless info, totally there. Well, yeah, the Great Plague subsided in England because the fire wiped out all the slums, basically. Hello, Scooby-Doo. You gonna sing? Ooh, rah, rah. Ooh, rah, rah. Hello. Hello. Mwah. He's a good boy. You're a good... Oh, you want a belly rub. He wants a belly rub. There we go. You done? Is that better? Is that better? We done? Yes? Okay. Mwah. Get down then. Good boy. Why don't you sit under there with Miss Maddie and give her a cuddle? Oops. He fell off my chair then. There we go. Scooby-Doo said hello. He's happy. Right then. I'm going to need some more brown. Brown chestnut. That might work. And burnt umber. Oh, I've got burnt umber. See, this is one of the premieres. Look at this. Can you see that? Look at that wood split. And that'll be like that all the way up. And the more you sharpen it, the higher up it'll crack. Until you get to the point where your pencil's about this long and you tip it up and all the lead falls out. I've got so much lag in my chat. I've got people telling me when the gunpowder plot was. Yeah, the gunpowder plot 1605. Great Fire of London 1666, which got rid of the plague. And I think the gunpowder plot was something to do with King James taking over. I'm not sure about that, but I seem to remember the beginning of the 1600s was when James took over and all the witch trials and things started. Who came before James? The Annus Mirabilis. 1605, yeah, I think we've established 1605. Ah, there we go. Emma. Elizabeth I died in 1601, as opposed to Elizabeth I died in 1601, and then she died again at another date. Elizabeth I died 1601. James I of England, who was James V of Scotland. James V or James IV? James III, perhaps. I don't know. He was James the something of Scotland. He was her cousin, wasn't he? And he took over in 1605. And that's when... Yeah, this is my problem with history, you see, Claire. Too much maths in it. It's too many numbers. I know who all these people were and how they relate to each other and all that, but don't make me do the numbers. Okay, I've got two browns here. I've got a warm brown, which is chestnut, and I've got a kind of a yellowy brown, which is burnt umber. So I'm going to add some slightly more metallic tones, which sounds weird because I've just put gold pencil over it. But the dark and light contrast will give you a better... It'll make it seem more metallic, if that makes sense. And if you're doing it down one plane, make sure you do it down another plane. And the reason for this is because metal, obviously, is reflective. Even matte or brushed metal is reflective. So it will pick up what's around it. So what we also need is a slightly mauvey colour, because it will be picking up the mauve reflection of this. James I of England was the 6th of Scotland, yes. King of Scotland till 1603, then he became the first Stuart King of England as well, creating Great Britain. Thank you, Deborah. See, I was close. I know the general bits, it's the numbers I can't do. It's too much like maths. Yes, he was the one who rewrote the Bible and wrote the Witch's Hammer, the Malleus Maleficarum, and caused an awful lot of problems. Technically, it wasn't his fault. It was the way people interpreted what he wrote. But, you know, a king should know that people are sheep. And that they look to him for guidance. And whatever he said, they were going to take as gospel. So he should have known better. Anyway, that's another story. Has anybody been watching that series that Claire talked about last week? The witch. It's on the witch trials. I've seen the first one. It was very, very good. Terribly sad, but very, very good. I kind of feel like this ought to be wine. I don't know why. I just do. So I'm going to put a kind of a reddish colour in there. Elizabeth I died in 1601. That's what you said, isn't it? Yes, 1666 was Newton as well. Not the apple thing, the differential calculus, which is way too much maths for me. See, just when I got to the point where I was kind of okay with maths, even though it had numbers in it, they started putting letters in there as well, and I was like, oh, hell no. And then, when they ran out of letters, they started adding in the Greek blooming alphabet. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Nick, arts major. What channel and when? I think it's a... Oh, Claire got paint in my hair. When is it? What is it? It was either ITV or BBC. And it was... I think it was immediately after one of these shows that I went and watched the first one. So I think it was on Tuesdays. I think there's about 4 episodes now. The very first one, I think, went off when I watched it the other day. I'm not 100% sure. I have no problem with history and boring facts. Boring facts are fine. Boring facts I can remember. My problem is with the fact that they expect you to match them to dates and numbers and all that stuff. No. Time is relative. We don't need to get into all that. We know who did what to whom. We don't need to know when it happened. It was either now or in ye olde days. Now being any time in the last 100 years. Basically, my view of history is it's either current or vintage. That's why I did ancient history, because ancient history, they don't care about the dates. It either happened BC or AD, that's all they're bothered about. And it was either BC, very BC, or extremely BC. Don't forget the imaginary number. See, that's theoretical maths. I don't have a problem with theoretical maths. fractals and all that kind of stuff. I think I'm going to work on these candles because these candelabra are like black onyx type candelabra with black candles. So I think I'm going to use those. I think I'm going to do those because that would be quite cool. So for a black surface, I'm going to use violet and indigo and, hold that thought, violet and indigo and actual black, maybe a bit of graphite, and for the glass surface, white as well. So this is going to be like a cross between the candle here and the globe. So it's a globe but in cylindrical format. Yeah, imaginary numbers, fractals, chaos numbers, all those, I like those. They're interesting. I enjoy the explanations more than I enjoy the actual squirrely numbers and things. So I think I'm going to start with the mid-tone, which will be the blue. Then I'll add lighter areas in purple, darker areas in the black, and the highlights in the white, and other bits in graphite. So let's start on the darker edge and bring it round. Now these are rounded, but they're also rounded that way. So they're kind of going to be a similar shape to the globe, but a little bit more linear. So it's going to come across here, but it's also going to come across here. So very light first layer. Now this bit is going to be catching the light, so that's actually going to be lighter there, and the dark bit is going to be up here where that bit is overhanging, same as there. And then we've got, again this is sticking out, so the light's going to catch it coming that way, so this is going to be a bit thinner. And then we've got, this is going to catch the light, so that's going to be lighter there. So this bit is going to be darker, but it's going to taper off that way because this bit is sticking out. This is a bit of a skirt bit. This is all going to be darker. And in here. Now I'm going to put the light areas in purple. So this will be a lighter area. So will this. So will this. Because we're dealing with concave surfaces here and here. That's a concave surface. It bows in like a cave. And a convex goes that way. It's bulging. If you get confused, concave goes in like a cave, and convex, when you're vexed or angry or worked up, your temple throbs and sticks out from your head. So you know that that sticks out. There you go, colouring Kenzie. You can teach that to your friends at school now. Ha! Bet they don't know that. Oh, we're going to have a little bit of a shadow here because this is a lip coming out, so this is going to have a little bit of a shadow under there. And then this is going to have shadow under the lip and across here. That's going to be lighter. This is going to be lighter. Here go the fireworks again. And it's going to come down at an angle because this is concave, so this is sticking out at the bottom. So basically it's going the opposite way. So convex, the shadow is going that way, and concave, the shadow is going that way. I hope that makes sense. Now I'm going to darken up my shadows with the second layer of blue. With the dark spots. What time are we on? 2 hours. A little bit too dark with that bit. Knock that back a bit. That's better. There we go. Got zoned out there. You're knitting so you're not cold. It's not cold here at all. Somebody said they had snow earlier. I don't know where they were. Although I know Pennsylvania's already had snow. Usually when Pennsylvania gets snow, we get it about 5 weeks later. So it might be a white Christmas, you never know. Okay, so now I've done the colour underneath, and you can see the shading. What I'm going to do is go over it with the black. But I've used Prismacolors underneath, which are waxy, and now I'm going over it with a Faber-Castell Polychromos, which is oily. Cat colour, yes it is. It's Quinn's colour. It's got twinkly bits. I need to find another bell because all the fixings on it are steel, so they don't rust, but except the bell. I need to find a steel bell because this bell keeps turning my arm green. I bought Quinn and Crow, brand new collars, and the day after I bought them, Quinn died. So he never got to wear his new collar. So I wore it anyway. I'm making a crochet blanket at the moment. It's very nice. I'm just not getting very far with it. Because I haven't had my glasses for a week. I lost them under the dog bed. Don't ask, I don't know, okay? Don't know how they ended up under the dog bed. They just did. Now this is glass. So again, I'm going for the very sharp edges. Not heavily edged. I'm not doing an outline. I'm just making sure that the edges are nice and sharp. Okay, enough with the fireworks now, people. It's so annoying. I don't know why people think fireworks are fun. I got put off fireworks when I was about 5. We went to an organised event. Me and my mum and dad and my best friend and her dad. And one of the fireworks went up and her dad had one of these, like a big quilted hooded jacket, a nylon jacket, like from the 80s, 70s, 80s. You know, the big Parker things. And the rocket, after it had exploded, you know, the bit that comes down, came down and went straight down the back of his coat, and it just melted the whole of the back of his coat to his back. He was really badly burned from it. And just from then on, I'm like, no, fireworks are not funny. I mean, who in their right mind... Yeah, I'm soapboxing, I'm sorry. But who in their right mind... You wouldn't just buy a loaded gun and hand it to a teenager. Or I hope you wouldn't. I'm sure there's some rednecks somewhere that would, but you'd at least show them how to use it, show them how to be safe with it, you know, whatever. Wouldn't you? So why would you just hand kids a bag of gunpowder and a naked flame and say, here, have at it? I just don't understand it. Colorado's got snow. Yeah, well, Colorado's a rule unto itself. Well, Quinn and Crow were twins. Quinn was the big soft one, and Crow was the little chatty one. Quinn was nearly always asleep on the desk next to me, or behind me, and Crow used to sit on the desk shouting at me. She was my studio supervisor. Welcome to America. But see, there's a difference. I mean, there's a difference between... I've got nothing against people who hunt. Well, I don't like hunting. But there are people in America who hunt, and they do it for food, and they teach their kids how to hunt, and they teach them how to protect themselves, because they live in the wilds, where they could be attacked by a bear or something. You know, fair enough. I've got no problem with that. But those are the kind of responsible people who teach their kids how to use a gun properly. You know, and they start them with a 2.2 rifle. And they work their way up. They don't just hand them a bloody great gun and say, here you go, have at it. I learnt to shoot a gun. I was in the RAF cadets, believe it or not. I've got an RAF marksman. I'm extremely good with a gun. And I think I was only about 13 when I started learning. But I was on a gun range with qualified attendants and, you know, safety gear and stuff. It wasn't just, here you go, let's see if you can hit that can from 200 yards. He gave a 7-year-old a gun and she shot and killed her instructor by accident. Well, that's her instructor's fault. That's his own fault. That's not her fault. For a start, if they were handed a 7-year-old a gun and an instructor was there, the safety should have been on. First thing they should have taught her was how to put the safety on and take the safety off. And the gun shouldn't have been loaded in the first place. That should be the second thing she learns, how to safely load and unload a gun. How to load it and how to clear it. So that's the instructor's fault, not hers. It's like that Brenda girl. I can never remember her surname. She, the Boomtown Rats wrote the song Don't Like Mondays about it. It happened on my birthday. When she shot the kids in the school playground. Angry, depressed teenager with bipolar. What does her dad give her for Christmas? Oh, a bloody great rifle and a box of ammunition. Because that was sensible. 1 month later, she kills like 9 people, most of them kids. Who didn't see that one coming? Her dad, apparently. Sorry, but that's just stupid. Anyway. Miss you too. You could take out a milk bottle top hanging from a string in a tree at a fair distance. Yeah. Me and my dad used to love going on those things. Well, we still do, actually. We go on those things at the seaside, you know, where you have to hit the targets. Okay, I've gone over it with black. Now I'm going to go back in to blend out any lines with the purple and blue. And then I'll go back in with the black again to get darker colour. You know those things you get at the seaside with the targets and they spit water? I love going on those. Because my dad's a marksman as well. He was in the TA. And he's like sniper good. But me, I shoot left-handed. Which everybody thinks it's hilarious when you're shooting a rifle. But I can shoot and load a 2.2 and a 303 rifle like that. And I can use an SLR left-handed, which is fairly unusual. You've got to be careful you don't smack yourself in the eye with the casings, but yeah, I have some fun memories of being about 11 or 12 years old. Me and my dad on these little things at the fair, me trying to shoot left-handed, and all these teenagers standing around thinking it was hilarious, laughing their asses off. And I'm like, joof! Oh, look, you got sprayed with water because I hit that. And clay pigeon shooting off the pier. I was good at that too. Because clay pigeon shooting, you haven't just got to be a good aim, you've got to have good eyesight. You've got to be able to track it. And until I got to the point where my arms simply weren't long enough to read close up, I had extremely good eyesight. Crazy good eyesight. I still have. I can read a computer screen from the other side of the room. Unfortunately, in order to read a book, I have to hold it across the other side of the room as well, unless I've got my glasses on. First gun lesson, the gun is always loaded. You do not point a gun at anyone or thing you do not intend to shoot. Well, there's one reason why accidents happen. You start back to work in an hour and you're spending half your time practising shading. Excellent! Pack your greys and blacks and a little bit of purple and blue. I'm try and show you. I'll try and show you this before you go then. So hopefully the colours will pick up. It's very similar to what I was doing with the Maddie thing the other day when I was using lots of colours to make black, to make her a black dog, but it was lots of different dual tone colours over grey. This is kind of the same thing. Over grey, I've done purple and blue, and now I'm blending it out with the black. And where I want them to be highlights, I'm leaving it. So you can see that looks like it's got a bit of a shine on it. That's where I'll go in with the white. So the highlight on it will end up kind of a purpley white. Yeah, very dark, like darkest you've got. I'm using violet and indigo, but you want the darkest you've got. And just keep going backwards and forwards between the two. Because I'm trying to make these look like onyx or black glass. Because you'll get to the point where you can't go any darker black. But if you put blue or indigo over black, you can put some more black on and it'll make it darker. You'd think it would be more black that would make it darker, but it's not. It's a similar theory to underpainting, where you underpaint in grey or brown and then you put your colours over the top. That's basically what we're doing, but with colour pencil. And I'm just avoiding the areas that I want to have highlights on. So deepen those shadows up a bit more, right at the edges. Blend it out again with black. See, it's going darker. Just when you think you can't go any darker, you do. Slow week at work, might as well practice. I like it. Not getting on the wrong side of me with a gun. I'm just very outspoken. I don't have time for stupidity. And to me, handing anybody who doesn't know how to use a gun, a loaded gun without the safety on, that classes as stupidity. That's natural selection telling you you need to get out of the gene pool. You teach people how to take the safety off safely and put it on safely, and then you teach them how to load the gun safely and how to clear the magazine safely. That's the first things you should learn. That's what we learn. To me, that's like putting somebody in a car and teaching them how to use the accelerator before you teach them how to tell them how the brake works. Darwinism. Take the safety labels off everything and let nature take its course. I think there's a discussion in the chat going on about America's gun laws, which I'm not getting into because that's a whole bag of cats, that is. I think the problem with it is that everybody is incredibly scared that somebody else will have a gun and they won't. That's the problem. Because as soon as you start saying to anybody, oh, well, you know, we manage without guns over here. And they're like, yes, but the police have guns. Yes, but criminals have guns. I think it's too late for America in that respect. I don't think you can get rid of guns. I don't think it's just going to happen like that. Because there's always going to be somebody who thinks it's right. Whereas here, we don't have guns. Not like out on the streets things. And anybody who thinks that anyone, anywhere, other than a trained soldier needs an AK-47 is on the wrong end of a gun, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but no. Weapons of war should be left with the war people. The people who are trained to deal with it. I need to get off this soapbox. Second Amendment. Maybe there's a reason it's an amendment and wasn't written in there in the first place. I don't know. Just a thought. just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should do it. I think it's cultural as well. Because I've noticed, like, America is very competitive. It's like you've got competitiveness ingrained in you from birth. Everything's about being the best and being, you know, it's not about the taking part, it's about the winning in America. Whereas here, it's about the taking part, and it always has been. Even in the 70s, it was always about the taking part. But now you've got a lot of people in America are up in arms because, oh, everybody gets a trophy isn't a very popular stance. No, you should only get a trophy if you win. Competitiveness. Because again, they don't get it. It's a different culture. It's not about you get a trophy for taking part. It's about you get acknowledged for your contribution. It's a completely different thing. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Right, I'm going to put some highlights in. Oh, Claire, we should go clay pigeon shooting sometime. I didn't know you could do clay pigeon shooting. We should do that. That'd be awesome. Now, because this is a curved surface and it's a glass surface, it's going to have slightly starker highlights, as in they will stand out more, but they will be over a wider area because it's a reflective surface. But you see, by putting the white over the pink, over the mauve, see how you get a much better, instead of just having black with white bits, you get a much better blended shadow by putting white over the purple. It's looking a little bit stark at the moment. I've got to go back in and blend that white edge out. Again, you blend it out, you blend it in. You blend it out, you blend it in. You don't just colour this bit and then colour that bit. Yeah, people who hunt for food tend to be the most careful, especially around their kids. They are the ones who teach their kids to shoot from a young age, and they are very safety conscious. It's the gung-ho redneck, yeah, we got right to bear arms crowd that's a bit of a worry. I got a gun and they're not afraid to use it. Anyway. Okay, so there's my white highlight. Now I'm going to go back in, and this is like, I've done purple, I've done black, I've done purple, I've done black, I've done white, I've done purple. Now I'm going back in with the purple to blend the white out a little bit more. Don't want any harsh edges. Not until I put in that final highlight like I did there. There we go. That's better. And now I've got a new trolley and I can find everything. It's great. Well, I have to open a couple of different drawers to get what I'm looking for, but because I don't know where everything is yet, I've just put it in there today. But it's so fab being able to just see what I've got. Latest extreme sort is cage fighting dressed in a full suit of armour with swords. Oh, awesome! I can handle a broadsword. Live reenactment nerd, yes. Okay, all I'm doing here is putting in the starkest highlights. And not very many of them, just enough to show that it's a reflective surface. And then to dull them down a bit, I just blot it so it doesn't dry completely opaque. And then these little bits will have something going across as well. Whoops. Good thing about using paint pen on a wax surface is you can use your fingernail to scrape it off if it's too much. There we go. So that's what it looks like up close. You weren't even allowed to point toy guns at each other. Do you know that's funny? We don't even have guns here, and you just don't. Even when you're playing, you don't point guns directly at each other. We were always taught that. Just play nice. Ooh, real broadswords. Yes, please. Mine was a half-weight one. I would love to be able to do the two broadsword thing. Oh, yes. Right, so we've got half an hour left. I think what I'll do is I'll do the candle so that you can see the difference between the matte surface and the reflective surface of the glass. Taking a paint pen as well. Now for the matte surface of the glass, I'm going to use pencil, graphite, and I'm going to lay that down to give kind of a smoky effect under the black. Nothing crazy, just a flat layer of regular graphite. And then I'm just going to go straight over that with the black. I'm not going to add the colours, just straight in with black. And I'm going to tidy up the edge as I go. I'm going to make it sharp, but not quite as sharp as the glass edge. That will give the impression, even though an edge is an edge, it will give the impression that this edge is a softer edge, which it is because glass and candle wax is not as sharp as glass. So it gives a smoother outline. So even though what your eye sees is two straight edges, where it's candle or not candle, glass or not glass, in order to make the texture right, you soften the edge with your pencil, or sharpen the edge with your pencil, and that will give you the impression of texture. Notice I'm not colouring all the way up to the top, because the top of a candle shows light through it. So we need to go back up there with a bit of yellow. Darken up this edge, it's away from the light. Blend it out. Not going all the way up to the top. So I'm going to use that kind of coppery yellow we were using down there. Come back up in here, bring some of the yellow down into the black. Remember, this is yellow over graphite, so it's not going to be yellow, it's going to be, oh look, that's not black, which is what we want. Okay. So now it looks like the light is shining through the top of the candle. Hi, Caitlin. Oh, I've opened a hornet's nest with the old gun talk, haven't I? Crikey. LARPing's awesome. I've been LARPing since the days of sticky notes, when you threw spells at each other and the best way you could do it was sticky noting each other. Now we have like LARPing apps and stuff where you text each other's phones. Okay, and I'm just going to go in with a little bit of white, not a massive amount, just a little bit, to create a grey section here, just to make it look like that side of the candle has a little bit of light coming at it, because it's a matte black candle, it's not going to reflect light. You know, beeswax candles don't reflect light, but light is coming at it from that direction, so this side is going to be lighter than this side. So there you go. So if you can see, there's the yellow coming through the top of the candle, but it's not yellow, it's yellow over graphite. And you can see that half of the candle is darker over here, coming down to the bottom. And then here we've got a lighter stripe. It's not white, it's grey, because it's white over graphite. It's just subtle enough to give it just that little edge to make that texture look different to this texture. And now what I'm going to do is take my graphite, whoops, let's try that one again, hands going funny, just going to take my graphite and sharpen up the outline on the glass. You will never get as sharp an edge with a colour pencil as you will with a graphite pencil, which is why I like to use the graphite Oh, it's so nice having my glasses back. I've missed your glasses. Hello. Are the prismas and the polychromos interchangeable? It depends what you mean by interchangeable. Polychromos are oil-based. They are hard but blendable. And you can put as many layers down as you want, because you can just keep layering over the top. You've seen with the black, I just add more black. The polychromos are, sorry, the Prismacolor are wax pencils. They are very, very, very soft. They are also blendable. Now the oil pencils, once they go down, and they can blend together. But with the wax pencils, once they go down, you can smoosh them about. Oh yeah, I'm switching backwards and forwards between the two. Basically, the long pencils that I'm using are my new Polychromos, and the short pencils that I'm using are Prismacolors. That's the bit I was just getting to, because the wax pencils are smooshable. So if you put the wax pencils down first, you get to a point where you can't add any more wax pencil because you get what they call wax bloom. It's just too many layers of wax. But what you can do is add oil over wax. So you can put the wax pencils down and then put oil pencil over the top, and it's effectively like adding a new grip. It stops the wax bloom and it allows you to keep layering. Yeah, I have some Charisma pencils. Those were way back in the day. The same pencils, but that was way back when they were Beryl. I've just finished. I've got one left. I've got one purple one left because I built a big box of purple. I've got one purple Charisma left. I think all my that was from when they were Beryl, and then the ones I've got now are from when they were Beryl Sanford or Sanford. Still using the ones you had when you were 15. I'm still using the Caran d'Ache ones I had when I was 15. And I think I was 15 a lot longer ago than you were. I've used all the dark colours. Not surprisingly. All the dark colours and the purple, they're gone. I'm just going to turn it this way so I can get this curve. Too much reflection. There we go. I've got snoring puppies. Okay, now I've done that. They didn't change names, they changed manufacturers. They've always been Prismacolors. Well, they were Charismacolors when they belonged to Beryl. When Sanford bought out Beryl and Crayola, they became Prismacolors. And now they're Prismacolor Premiers. And they're crap. Well, the wax is still lovely. The pencil itself is still lovely. I'm tempted to see if there's a way to actually split the wood and get the pencil bit out and maybe put it in a clutch pencil or something, because that would be just so much easier. Seriously. I'm tired of them breaking on me. This has to stop. See that big old gash in there? That's the wood splitting. Oh yeah, they changed it from Charismacolour to Prismacolour when it changed manufacturers, when one bought out the other. But I like the polychromos because you can just keep layering with them. But at the same time, they're not like Prismacolours. I'd like to try the Caran d'Ache Luminesce, although I have a feeling there'll be neon colours again. And I don't like the fact that neo colours, all the Caran d'Ache stuff is neon colours. Like even these bright colours here, they're all neon. Every single one of them is a neon colour. I don't like neon. Well, I do like neon pink, but I don't like neon generally. Lately I've sharpened 1 graphite for every 3 Prismacolours to sharpen the blade. Yeah, it's not the blade, it's the wood. Because if you've got the older Prismacolours like I have, you don't have the issues. The only issues I have is with the new ones, the Premiers. I haven't tried the Verithins, I don't know what they're like. The graphite cleans the wax off the blade. Yeah, but the wax on the blade shouldn't be a problem. The wax on the blade shouldn't be causing wood to split. All the wax on the blade does is build up wax on the blade. And means when you pull your colour out, you'll have the colour on that was on there last. It shouldn't stop them sharpening. And it certainly shouldn't split the wood. What are considered the older Prismacolours? The older Prismacolours are the ones that are not labelled as the new livery. Premier, very thin, and something else. Where's it gone? Here it is. These ones that have got Premier and the number written in a block, those are the new ones. This is the old livery. This is the Sanford livery, where it just had Prismacolour and the colour and the number. It's got the number, the name in French and English. Always has had. But that's how you tell the difference. The easiest way is to look at the number. If the number is in gold, on just gold on straight onto the pencil, then it's a Sanford range. If it's in a block in either silver or gold, then it's either one of the Premiers or the Verithins or whatever the other one is. I don't like the new ones at all. I'm sure it's the wood that makes it, because the wax itself works exactly the same way. It's, yeah, ragey. I get ragey with it. I only have one beryl one left. That's when they were Charismacolour. And I love them. They were completely different. The wax was different. The colours were different. The wood was different. They were just amazing. The beryl ones were absolutely amazing. The Prismacolour ones, when they got taken over by Sanford, were good. Close to amazing. Now they're just ragey. I just get so annoyed with having to keep sharpening the same pencil over and over again. I don't mind when the tip goes blunt. You know, the tip goes blunt and they go blunt very quickly. Much quicker than the polychromos. And that's okay. That's the way the pencils work. I've never had any problems with that. No, the Prismacolor lead breaking is not due to rough handling and shipping. Because it's a soft lead. If you drop a Prismacolor on the floor, it shouldn't snap inside. It shouldn't break. Because it's a soft lead. That's why it's not bonded to the wood. That's what's supposed to stop it. Yeah, you can microwave them, but I don't recommend it because they do have metal on the livery, and if you put metal in your microwave, eventually you're going to kill your microwave. I don't care if it sets fire to the wood or it melts the stuff inside. I'm more worried about the fact that I don't want to cause arcing inside my microwave, and that's why you shouldn't put it in the microwave. And you shouldn't have to put them in the microwave. Prismacolor art sticks, what are they? Are they like the wax without the wood? Because if they're the wax without the wood, I might have to get some of those and stop buying Prismacolor pencils, because the Prismacolor pencils are driving me mental. I would say that I haven't had as much experience of breaking. In fact, my Faber-Castells I haven't had any experience of breaking except when I've been talking and sharpening at the same time and I've accidentally over sharpened it, then it breaks, obviously. But it's a bonded pencil, so it will. The lead inside it is actually bonded to the wood. Which is why when you sharpen them, even if it does break, it shouldn't just pull out because it's stuck to the wood. You'll just get to a point where eventually you'll get a crack in the lead and the lead will break off like there because it's outside of the wood. But as long as it's inside of the wood, it shouldn't break. So when you're sharpening a polychromos, if it's got a break in it, it shouldn't pull out. Like the Prismacolors, they pull out like up to here. But a Faber-Castell won't do that because it's stuck to the wood. If you go on De Went's YouTube, there's a fascinating documentary on how they make their pencils, and it tells you the difference between bonded and unbonded pencils, because they make the same two, and you can then look up who's got bonded and who's got unbonded. I don't know what the Luminesce ones are, I have to look that up. The ones I've got, these, are unbonded. If you sharpen these too hard, it will snap up here, and then the whole thing comes out. Okay, you're all writing in capitals and I can't tell if it's for me or not because none of it makes any sense. It's not a cheap pencil sharpener. I use a cheap-ass 25p pencil sharpener on my Faber-Castells. And I have no trouble with them at all. They are soft leads, so you should use, or I recommend that you use, either the Prismacolor sharpener that is made for them, not the new sharpener, not the bullet sharpener, the old one, the block sharpener that is specially made for wax pencils, or just get one that you use for eye makeup pencils, a kohl pencil sharpener, because that's made for very, very soft leads. And the angle and everything is completely different. It's a much bigger hole. But my polychromos I can sharpen with a 25p sharpener that I bought down the paper shop. And they are just as expensive pencils. They're the same grade. They're artist grade pencils. So if Faber-Castell can do it, why can't Polychroma? Why can't Prismacolor? I think the problem is there are lots of brands that do the oil-based bonded pencils. There's Staedtler, there's De Went, There's Faber-Castell. Almost all the European brands do them. Nobody else does, that I know of, proper wax-based pencils like Prismacolors. So they've basically cornered the market until somebody else brings out another wax-based pencil. And if there's a patent out on it, we're never going to get it. But until somebody brings out another wax-based pencil, they've got the market cornered. They don't have to have quality control because people will keep buying them just because they like the wax. No matter how much they break, they'll keep buying them because that's the pencils they like to use. Not sure how to keep a point. On what? The art sticks? Bit of sandpaper. Or you can get one of those special fancy pencil sharpening board things. Or you can just use a bit of a bit of fine grained sandpaper or a nail file. Fine grained nail file. It's quite a common thing to do with pencils as well. I do it sometimes with my Faber-Castells because they're hard pencils. You can't really do it with a soft pencil. You have to do it with harder pencils. But because these are hard pencils, you see I've still got a load of tip left on that, but the point is gone. So I just get a bit of nail file. There you go, I've got a point again now. And you can do a point, you can do a chisel tip, you can do whatever you need. See? Uber fine point. And that's what you want for those art stick ones. You can use it on clutch leads as well, like the really thick clutch lead pencils. They're like a mechanical pencil, but they've got a grabber at the end, and they're for like 2 and 3 mil pencil leads. Again, a cheap nail file. In fact, if you can get one of those crystal nail files, that's even better. You have to be a lot more careful with it because obviously they sharpen a lot faster, but they're washable. I had one, but I broke it. I need to get a new one. But you can use that for your nails and then wash it and use it for your pencils because they're diamond crystal glass stuff. Obviously they're not made of diamonds, but they're crystal glass. See, very, very sharp point without having to sharpen your pencil again. Yeah, they probably can be sharpened, but you probably need, it depends, I don't know what they look like. If they're very, very thin, like charcoal sticks, you'd need a smaller pencil sharpener. If they are basically, if they're basically the lead in the pencil without the pencil, you'd need a mechanical pencil sharpener or something. But it's much easier to just use a bit of sandpaper or something like that and just sharpen it off. Because when you're sharpening a pencil, you're not sharpening the lead. What you're doing is removing the wood so that you can get more pencil. And it just happens that because it's made into a point that it sharpens the lead. The only reason to use a sharpener is to take the wood off. If there's no wood, you don't need a sharpener. You just need something that will point it. I've not seen the art sticks. I'm going to have to try those out. Yeah, just grab your crystal nail file and then you can clean it. I'm just doing another layer of indigo and black over these eyes because when I put this in, it made these not look dark enough. So I'm just matching the shadows. And then if I feel any of the other shadows are not quite dark enough, then I'll darken them up. Like for instance, I think that one could do with a little bit of darkening, so I'll add a bit of black in there. It's a very, very light touch. You don't have to do very much to make it look a bit darker. I'm barely pressing down with my pencil. If you're colouring and you're getting writer's cramp, you're holding your pencils too tight, which means you're colouring too hard. The secret to good blended colouring is layer, 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 layer. And then layer some more. Gone are the days of being a kid and just, oh, I want this dark, so you don't want to do that. You should never have to colour heavily with a pencil to get a dark colour. You just keep colouring over it until you get the colour. Or if you want really bright colours, just use a felt tip, okay? What kind of pencil is this? It's the Polychromos. It's just a new one because it's black and I go through black and white at a rate of knots because I use black and white more than anything else. Black, white, crimson lake, yellow ochre and violet are the colours that I go through faster than any others. So these are nearly always new because I've already finished one. And I buy boxes of 12, so I've always got one. I've got about 12 on the go and they're all this length. And eventually they'll all be this length and I'll still have 12 on the go. But I use those colours all the time. So I've got one in my pencil case, one on my desk, one in my paint pot, one by my bed, one in my journal case. Oh, were you not here for that, Emma? Yeah, I'm using a mixture of Prismacolor and Polychromos Faber-Castell. One is wax-based, one is oil-based. They both have different properties. They both do different things. I like to mix and match them. I also like to throw graphite in there as well. Okay, I'm going to darken up these shadows a bit as well. Oh, I'm getting hungry. We must be near... Oh, 3 minutes to go. We didn't take a break today. I normally take a break in the middle. That's what happens when I colour. I just get lost for hours and hours and hours. What do you want to do next week? Because we're not going to do this again. I'll be finished this by next week. I'm hoping to get some more pages done because I want to do a thing on... just a general spread on Samhain with all correspondences and things, and I want 3 1/4 by 1/4. Oh, there's 6 mil, so they're the same size of pencil then. Ah, 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 is about, they're about that. So they're about that big then. Bear in mind I've got little pudgy hands. I don't have lovely long fingers like some of you. I've got gnome hands. They're about that big. Christmas cards. It's a bit early for Christmas cards, isn't it? We're doing Christmas cards this month in When Frogs Sing. The When Frogs Sing 2016, by popular demand, is still open on the Halloween special because I've had 4 or 5 people email me and say they don't get paid until this Friday, the first Friday of the month, because they're on apparently American benefits and things and retirement pay and all that kind of stuff. A lot of them get paid at the first Friday of the month. So it's still open at the moment if you want to get the Halloween special, which is the full class for £99 plus the 2 free classes, or the 3 payments of £33 for the full year, So if you're interested in signing up, you've got another couple of days to do it. I extended it. I did say at the time that just because it was a Halloween special didn't mean it was going to cut off at Halloween. What inspired the name When Frogs Sing? That's a good question. Let me... Oh, don't tell me it's going to crash now if I try and switch cameras. No, it's not. What inspired the name When Frogs Sing? I will tell you. It's an Indian legend. And it's about frogs and crickets and grasshoppers. And the frogs were frogging away. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. And the grasshoppers came along and said, "You shouldn't ribbit, that's so common. You sound so rough and coarse. You should chirrup like we do. Chirrup, 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 chirrup. See, we sound like we're singing. We're far more intelligent than you. We sound like we're singing. You're just going, rip, rip, rip. Woo, we're making pretty noises like chirrup, 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 chirrup." So the frogs said, "You know what? We're right. You're right. We do sound a bit stupid and thick. So, yeah, we'll start singing. We will. Singing, 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 singing." And there was a drought. And the drought continued, and the drought continued, and the drought continued. And eventually the grandchildren of the grandchildren of the grandchildren of the original frogs said, "Do you remember the stories and the legends of when we used to croak? And when we croaked, the rains came." And they were like, "Yeah, I've heard that as well. You know, maybe if we croak, the rains will come." So they all got round the pond and they're like, ribbit, 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 ribbit. And the rains came. And the moral of the story is, just because somebody else tells you that you should do something their way, doesn't mean it's right. You should do it your way. And that is the entire premise, not just of When Frogs Sing, but of my entire teaching thing. I do not tell you I'm doing it the right way. I show you lots of different ways to do it and lots of different ways to try it, and you figure out what's best for you. And that is why you never see, even though I've taught 5 portraits classes now, you never see somebody else drawing faces the way I draw them. Because I don't teach people to draw faces the way I draw them. I teach people how to construct a face according to what a face should look like and how a face looks good. I teach them how to use a reference photo to construct a face. I don't teach people how to draw a face like I draw a face. I don't want you to draw faces like me. I want you to draw faces like you. So you should sing like a frog and be proud of it. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. What are the 2 additional classes? When Frogs Sing 2016 is the mixed media class. 3 weeks in each month. Drawing, painting, and then mixed media, which is like paper and collage and bits and pieces. Painting is like watercolour and wet media. Acrylic, watercolour pencils, that kind of thing. And dry drawing will be pencil, pastel, colour pencil, ink. Not painting with ink, but writing with ink, that kind of stuff. And we're doing flora, fauna, people and places. So flowers, animals, people, places. And then alongside that, I'm rerunning the year-long planning project and the year-long writing project from When Frogs Sing 2015. Because a lot of people in the class this year didn't get to finish it anyway, so they're all joining again. Basically, there was an awful lot of content in this year's class and people just couldn't keep up. So next year, there won't be quite as much content, but there will be 2 extra classes as well that you can take alongside it. If that makes sense. Rupert the Bear? Oh, Rupert the Bear Frog Song, yeah. So yeah, that's where When Frogs Sing came from. When frogs sing, the rains come. When crickets get too cocky and start telling people what to do, there's a drought. Sounds too good to resist. It is too good to resist. No! No! I don't want that song in my head. Bum, 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 bye, bum, 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 bye. No. I hate you, Claire. I'm going to be singing that all evening now. No. Put Paul McCartney back in the box. Yeah, if you want to sign up, all the information is on rhomany.org. Scroll down to the bottom. There's a big blue banner that says When Frogs Sing. Click on there, it'll take you to the information, and you can sign up. You can get the three monthly payments, which is just When Frogs Sing 2016, or you can pay the whole lot in one go, and you get When Frogs Sing 2016 and the planning and writing classes, which will start in January. So there you go. That's it. I'm hungry. Oh, it's lag. If you're getting double messages, it's lag. Castle's on. Ooh! I think I've seen all of Castle, though, haven't I? Claire, before you go. Claire got paint in my hair. What was that witch documentary you were talking about? Emma wanted to know what it was. If you can still hear us, put it in the chat box for Emma. I think it was ITV, Emma. I'm pretty sure it was ITV Player. You can always buzz Claire on Twitter anyway. She's got Paint in My Hair without the R on Twitter. So you can at her on Twitter and she'll tell you where it is. Or wherever she is these days. I think she's mostly on Twitter. Right, I'm going off to get some food. I'm starving, man. Starving. I hope you've had fun today. And did we decide what we're going to do next week? Put your ideas in the group. Facebook.com/Witchy Wednesdays or Witchy Weds. I can't remember if it's Witchy Weds or Witchy Wednesdays. Either way, put your ideas in the group. Let me know what you want to do for next week. I didn't see Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I don't like that book. I've been trying to read that book for about 8 years and I just cannot get into it. I'm having the same problem with another one, The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. It sounds like it should be right up my alley, but I can't get into it. And I kept thinking the other day, I was trying to read the first chapter, and I had to keep going back over it and back over it and back over it because I was realising that I'd read a paragraph and I had no idea what it said. And I kept thinking in my head, this is just like Susan Hill's writing. It's really annoying. I just can't get into it. And then I looked at the reviews and everybody was like, oh, she's the next Susan Hill. I'm like, oh, well, I give up then. I like Susan Hill's stories, but her books, oh my God. I wouldn't mind watching the series. I was put off it a little bit, but it was a BBC series and they're usually quite good. Because I do like her stories, especially her ghost stories. I love her ghost stories, but yeah. I find her books, her literature, very difficult to get into. I don't know why. Even as an audio book, I find it very, very difficult to get into it. Anyway, I'm going now because I'm hungry. Bye. Have fun. I'm going to put the please wait sign up.